דשלחוי חטוי סיינו ימחוי זרנו וחסבנו יהבק החול וחגך חובים להלוי המבדיל בין קודש לחול חטוי סיינו ימחוי זרנו וחסבנו יהבק החול וחגך חובים להלוי Yoim ponno ketel toimer ekrolokei lolai goimer Oma shoimer rosovoy kebegal loilo Yoim ponno ketel toimer ekrolokei lolai goimer Oma shoimer rosovoy kebegal Sidikosro gehartavoy Achatowai avoy tavoy Mesmoil, keyoy mesmoil kiyavoy Miyashmuro valoylo Chofoy nas min chosi Mi yitein menuchosi Yogati v'yan chosi Asre bechol lo yelo Deshlechoy Chatoy Seinu Yimchoy Tarinu V'chasbeinu Yahavek Achoy Lechakoy Chovrim Ba'aloylo Ba'aloylo Amabedil Beikoy Deshlechoy Chatoy Seinu Yimchoy Tarinu V'chasbeinu Yahavek Achoy shoylech lochem mes Eliyahu hanovi shoyleach lochem es Eliyahu hanovi lifnei boyoim Hashem agodol vehanoido ve'eshiv levavoy saboni ve'levonim alavoy ve'eshiv levavoy onvoy sabonim ve'levonim alavoy ve'eshiv levavoy abonim ve'levonim alavoy ve'eshiv levavoy onvoy sabonim ve'levonim alavoy hinei yorechi shoyleach lochem es Eliyahu hanovi lifnei boyoim Hashem agodol vehanoido hinei anochi shoyleach lochem es Eliyahu hanovi lifnei boyoim Hashem agodol vehanoido ve'eshiv levavoy sabonim ve'levonim alavoy ve'eshiv levavoy onvoy sabonim ve'levonim alavoy ve'eshiv levavoy sabonim ve'levonim alavoy ve'eshiv levavoy onvoy sabonim levonim alavoy ve'eshiv
Birshus Rosh HaYeshiva, Rav Silva, Rabbonim, fellow alumni and friends of the yeshiva. Shavua Tov. For those of you that do not know me, and there probably are some, my name is Eitan Storfer. I'm a proud alumnus of KBY and will be chairing proceedings this evening. So if everything goes well, you can thank me, and if not, well, otherwise. Around 18 months ago, a group of UK-based alumni of the yeshiva got together and expressed a collective desire to rejuvenate the yeshiva's activities within the community here in London and the North. Following on from a success... There are a few visitors here from the North who've made the trip especially down to join us over Shabbos and this evening, so thank you for them. Following on from a successful Melava Malka last January with over 120 participants, including new Ram Rav Shalom Rosner and Rosh Hashiva of Aaron Friedman, we've had a busy year. The inaugural alumni Chabura before Pesach, a Shabbaton Rav Lachman in May, and a Shabbaton Rav Stav in October. I think it can safely be said that the yeshiva has taken great strides in rebuilding its presence in the UK, and long may that continue. As part of that mission, I'm delighted to welcome, I think we reached about 130 by the time we actually started serving this evening, of you here this evening. We truly, deeply appreciate each and every one of you making the effort to be here and showing your support for the yeshiva, truly. First, a few thank yous. Special thanks must go to the alumni committee who've worked so hard to put on this evening and the events of the past year. In typical KBY style, without wishing to sound too pretentious, the committee contains a rabbi, a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, and an accountant. In no particular order, Richie Levy, Dr. Eli Bergin, Jeremy Rowe, Rabbi Shmuley Segal, Dr. Benny Slukis, Yehuda Schreiber, Jonathan Ross, and Michael Deutsch. Thank you. I'd like to make a special mention of Moshe Steinberg, who's been tremendous support, particularly in managing the complicated itineraries of all our guests over the weekend. Thank you also to Mr. Itzik Feder and Mr. Rafi Pinnick for their assistance in putting on this evening. I would also like to thank the generous sponsors of this evening's events who will remain anonymous. However, it should be noted the evening has been sponsored Lilei Nishmas, Maras Feiga, Bas Yehuda Yitzchak V'chaya, Maras Blumen, Bas Ruben Ve'etia Bina, and Ha'adam Yakar, Ephraim Fischel, Ben Moshe Obluma Gal. We are delighted to welcome a number of special guests with us this evening from Israel. Rosh Yeshiva of Gabriel Saraf, Magid Shir of Aaron Silva, Director of Development Mr. Eyal Wertheimer, and Director of Yeshiva, Mr. Tzvi Zeltzer. I am sure that each of these guests is eager to meet the many alumni and guests here tonight, if they haven't done so already, so please do take the opportunity throughout the evening to come by and say hello. Special thanks must go to Eyal for his help in planning this evening. At this stage, I'd like to make a particular mention of Rav Silva. Rav Silva has been teaching in the yeshiva for 30 years, and throughout that time, he has guided hundreds of English boys in the ways of Gemara, Halacha, and Ashkofa. Rav Silva has also been an outstanding role model, combining vast Torah knowledge with humility and a down-to-earth style. Rav Silva, we are extremely grateful you accepted our invitation to come to be with us over Shabbos and this evening. Your presence has meant a lot to the alumni here and allows us to show a small part of the appreciation that we have for the dedication you have shown us over many, many years. It's a great honor to have with us Rosh Yeshiva Rav Gabriel Saraf. Rav Saraf joined the yeshiva as a Talmid Hesder in 1992 and rose through the yeshiva hierarchy with IDF service as well, becoming first a Meshiv and then a Magid Shir before being appointed Rosh Yeshiva 2 years ago. It's really been, those of you who've had the opportunity over Shabbos, it's really been a tremendous experience to have both Rav Silva teaching with us and Rav Saraf teaching over Shabbos. I can speaking on behalf of the alumni, I think everyone has really felt it's been a fantastic weekend thus far. When I was a Talmud in the yeshiva, it was said, I remember very clearly, my roommate told me, I tried to verify with him this week, but he didn't get back to me. But I'm confident that it's a reliable story. It was said that Rav Avodah Yosef Zatzal, referring to Rav Saraf's phenomenal memory, applied the Mishnah's description of Rabbi Elazar ben Hurkanus, a bar sud she'eino ma'abed tipa, a plastered cistern which does not lose a drop. We are delighted that Rav Saraf is here on his inaugural trip to London. It's been a true honor to have been in his presence over Shabbos. We hope it will be the first of many visits to London, and I would like to invite him to share some divrei bracha. Rav Saraf.
Shavua Tov and good evening. It's my first visit in London, and I'm very excited to be here. I had a lovely, wonderful Shabbos, and I thank you all for the warm welcome I received. I want to precede my words by apologizing that the continuation of my speech will be in Hebrew. Even though I know that it's not as complicated comparison to the Brexit deal, However, I prefer to speak in the language which will enable me to express my feelings and my appreciation to you in the most meaningful way. אז באמת ברשות הרבנים החשובים, הרב סילבר, הרב דניאל רו, הרב קמחי, כל הרבנים, ברשות בוגרי הישיבה החשובים שתומכים ומסייעים לישיבה לאורך שנים רבות, and we are very very grateful to them. אני רוצה לציין מספר אנשים מאוד מאוד יקרים שבזכותם הלילה הזה, הערב הזה מתקיים. את רב ריצ'י לוי, שהבית שלו והמשרד שלו זה הבית של הישיבה. כל השנים במסירות עצומה לישיבה, וגם באופן אישי ערך אותי בשבת בצורה מעוררת השתאות. אני רוצה גם להודות לרב אלי ברגן, לאיתן סטופר היקר, לג'רמי רו, לבניס לוקס, לרב שמואל סגל, ליהודה שרייבר, למוישי שטיינברג, למיכאל דויטש, לרפי בלק, ללישה דויטש, לאשר רובין, ולצוות של הישיבה היקר, לצבי זלצר, לאייל ורטיימר, שטרחו כל כך הרבה זמן בשביל שהערב הזה יתקיים, הערב הזה המוצלח. אנחנו מודים להם מקרב לב. באמת לראות אתכם, זה כל כך משמח, לראות את הבוגרים של כרם ביבנה, כמה הם בני תורה, כמה הם מחוברים לתורה. ואני מוכרח לומר שאני לא רוצה להגזים, אבל אני חושב שתלמידי אנגליה הם מבין התלמידים הטובים ביותר בישיבה. ואני לא מדבר רק על המכה שלהם בתורה, על המסירות ועל ההתמדה העצומה. ובאמת תמהתי מאיפה זה מגיע. דרך הביקור כאן באמת לומדים על הרקע, על ההיסטוריה, על פרשת השבוע. אנחנו חוזרים חזרה למעמד הנשגב של מעמד הר סיני. יש אור החיים הקדוש מאוד מעניין על הפסוק. הפסוק אומר, בחודש השלישי לצאת בני ישראל מארץ מצרים, ביום הזה באו מדבר סיני. וייסעו מרפידים, ויבואו מדבר סיני, ויחנו במדבר, ויחן שם ישראל נגד ההר. שואל האור החיים, יש כאן דבר מוזר. הרי הפסוק אומר, בחודש השלישי לצאת, ביום הזה באו מדבר סיני. הפסוק כבר אומר שהם הגיעו למדבר סיני. אז מה זה שהפסוק אומר, וייסעו מרפידים, ויבואו מדבר סיני? אומר האור החיים הקדוש, אין זה, אלא שכל הפסוק הזה ניתן להידרש, הוא בא לדרשה. והפסוק הזה, הרי חז"ל מדברים על 48 דברים שהתורה נקנית בהם. אבל ישנם 3 דברים, אומר האור החיים הקדוש, שהם הבייס, הם הדבר הבסיסי ביותר, שבלעדיו אי אפשר לזכות לקניין בתורה. מה הם 3 הדברים? הדבר הראשון, וייסעו מרפידים. רפידים, כולנו מכירים, וילחם עם ישראל ברפידים, על עמלק נאמר, וילחם עם ישראל ברפידים. הפשט ורפידים זה רפיון ידיים. מי שרוצה לזכות בקניין של תורה, צריך מסירות. צריך להתמסר לתורה. לצאת מרפיון ידיים. כל מקום שמדובר על התורה, מדברים על חזק ואמץ, אומר הקדוש ברוך הוא ליהושע, חזק ואמץ. הגמרא אומרת בשבת סמך ג', אדם כי ימות באוהל, אין דברי תורה מתקיימים אלא ממי שממית עצמו עליהם. זה הדבר הראשון. וייסעו מרפידים. ויחנו במדבר. אומר האור החיים הקדוש, מדבר מסמל שפלות וענווה. מדבר שהוא מופקר לכל, אין לו גייבה. התנאי השני לקניין בתורה זה הענווה והשפלות. והתנאי השלישי, אז אמרנו, וייסעו מרפידים, ויבואו במדבר סיני ויחנו במדבר, ויחן שם ישראל נגד ההר. חז"ל דרשו, ויחן כאיש אחד בלב אחד. התנאי לקניין בתורה זה להיות בדיבוק חברים, שללמוד תורה לא בשביל עצמך, אלא ללמוד על מנת ללמד, על מנת לחלוק את התורה עם השני, על מנת להאיר לו פנים, להסביר לו פנים, לחברותה, ללמוד בדיבוק חברים. יש מדרש, בג' דברים ניתנה תורה, באש, במים, במדבר. אולי אפשר לומר ששלושת הדברים הללו הם מקבילים לשלושת היסודות, קצת באופן אחר. האש מסמלת את אש התורה, את האש של המסירות, של ההתמסרות לתורה. זה האש. המים מסמלים את השפלות ואת הענווה. חז"ל אמרו בגמרא בתענית דף ז, אוי כל צמא לכו למים. למה נמשלה תורה למים? מה מים מניחים מקום גבוה ויורדים למקום נמוך? כך אין דברי תורה מתקיימים אלא במי שדעתו שפלה. זה מים. מדבר, אפשר לומר שהוא מסמל את הדיבוק חברים. וממדבר מתנה. אין דברי תורה, אם אדם עושה עצמו כמדבר הזה, שהכל דשים בו, והוא מופקר לכל, הוא מבין שהתורה שלו היא תורה של כולם, שכולם נהנים מהבוסם שלו, מהתורה שלו, אז תורה ניתנת במדבר. חשבתי אולי להסביר על פי זה גמרא מופלאה שמוכרת. הגמרא מספרת בבבא מציעא דף נ"ט על תנורו של אחנאי, יש שם סיפור ידוע. הייתה מחלוקת בין רב אליעזר לחכמים על תנורו של אחנאי. רב אליעזר טען שהתנור טהור. ורב אליעזר השיב להם כל תשובות שבעולם והם לא קיבלו. ואז רב אליעזר בא ואמר, אם הלכה כמותי, חרוב יוכיח. עץ החרוב יוכיח. נעקר חרוב ממקומו 100 אמה, והלך למקום אחר. אמר לו רבי יהושע, אין מביאים ראיה מן החרוב. אמר רבי אליעזר, אם הלכה כמותי, אמת המים תוכיח. אמת המים הייתה יורדת מלמעלה למטה, ובדרך נס היא חזרה לאחור. אמרו לו, אין מביאים ראיה מאמת המים. אמר להם רב אליעזר, אם הלכה כמותי, כותלי בית המדרש יוכיחו. נטו כותלי בית המדרש ליפול. גער בהם רבי יהושע. אמר להם, אם תלמידי חכמים מנצחים זה את זה בהלכה, אתם מה לכם? אז הם נעמדו בצורה נטויה. לא זקפו מפני כבודו של רבי אליעזר, ולא נפלו מפני כבודו של רבי יהושע. What is the meaning of these three ניסים, miracles? הרב אליעזר רצה להראות את כוחו בניסים? Probably everybody there could do something like this. אבל אולי מה שרב אליעזר ביקש להראות, אני זכיתי לשלושה דברים שבזכותם יש קניין בתורה. חרוב מסמל את ההתמסרות לתורה. החרוב בכל מקום זה ההסתפקות במועט. לרשב"י שהיה במערה, מה גדל? עץ חרוב. והגמרא בברכות בדף י"ז אומרת, רבי חנינא, רבי הקדוש ברוך הוא אומר, כל העולם כולו ניזון בשביל חנינא בני. וחנינא בני די לו בקו של חרובים מערב שבת לערב שבת. החרוב הוא מסמל את ההתמסרות, את ההסתפקות במועט. אמת המים, ודאי, אמת המים מסמלת את המים, את השפלות ואת הענווה. וכותלי בית המדרש יוכיחו, כותלי בית המדרש, זה הדיבוק חברים, זה התורה שלמדנו ביחד. אז אומר להם רב אליעזר לחכמים, תקבלו את דעתי, כי אני עמלתי על שלושת הדברים האלה. אני חושב שאולי זה הסוד. אני רואה את הנעימות, את הדרך ארץ, את האצילות של התלמידים שלנו, שלכם. אני יודע שזה מגיע מפה, from this warm community. המנרס, המידות הטובות, הדרך ארץ, אש התורה וההתמסרות לתורה, והדיבוק חברים שאנחנו רואים פה, ואנחנו רואים בבית המדרש, שבוגרי כרם ביבנה, אני חושב, הם המשתתפים העיקרים בו. החשיבות הזו של החיבור של הדיבוק חברים, זה מה שמביא בסופו של דבר את ההצטיינות בתורה, את החיבור לתורה. ואני חושב, כמו שאמרתי, אני חושב שהדבר הזה הוא מגיע מההורים. חז"ל אמרו, בכל העם רואים את הקולות. אומרים חז"ל, שעם ישראל זכה לראות את הדבר הנשמע. וכל העם רואים את הקולות. איך אפשר לראות קולות? אמרו חז"ל שעם ישראל זכה לראות את הדבר הנשמע. איך אפשר לראות דבר נשמע? אבל הביאור הוא, את הדבר הנשמע, הכוונה את הדבר שעתיד להישמע מדור לדור, מאב לבן, על מעמד הר סיני, הקבלת התורה. את הדבר הזה עם ישראל זכה לראות במו עיניו. הם ראו, כל אחד צריך לדעת את זה, מה שעכשיו אנחנו מעבירים מדור לדור, זה התחיל בראייה, שזכו לראות את הדבר שעתיד להישמע ולעבור מדור לדור. אומר הרמב"ן, כי לא נעיד שקר לבנינו, ולא ננחיל אותם דברי הבל. These values, הערכים האלה, הם מגיעים מהאבות, מההורים, מהאימהות שנמצאים פה, שמעבירים את זה לילדים, את החשיבות של החיבור לקודש, החיבור לתורה, השאיפה לגדול בתורה, ואת הפירות אנחנו רואים פה. אז אני באמת רוצה להודות לכם על זה שבאתם קודם כל, והבאתם את הערכה שלכם העמוקה לישיבה, ואנחנו מחזירים לכם אהבה, מערכים מאוד מאוד את העשייה שלכם ואת הפעילות שלכם עבור הישיבה, ומי ייתן בעזרת השם שכל שנה נזכה להיפגש ולהתרגש ביחד, לחזור לחוות חוויה של דיבוק חברים, ונזכה בעזרת השם שנראה עין בעין בשוב השם ציון. שבוע טוב.
Rabbi Weingarten, thank you for joining us. KBY has produced thousands of distinguished alumni, among them many hundreds of Rabbonim. We are delighted to have with us this evening many English alumni and many English rabbinic alumni. I would like to pay special tribute to Rabbi Shimon Weingarten, the most senior UK rabbinic product of the yeshiva, who is making Aliyah with his Rebbetzin this year. Rabbi Weingarten learned in the yeshiva in the 1960s, and those of you with longer memories will also recall Rabbi Weingarten's father, Mr. Aaron Weingarten Zal, who would host Rav Goldwicht here in London and worked tirelessly on behalf of the yeshiva for many years. Rabbi Weingarten, it's a tremendous honor to have you and the Rebbetzin join us this evening, and we wish you much hatzlacha in your forthcoming Aliyah. On that note, I'd also like to thank Rabbi and Rebbetzin Kimchi for joining us this evening and wish them much hatzlacha in their forthcoming Aliyah. Although not a Talmud of the yeshiva, Rabbi Kimchi has had a son who learns in the yeshiva, and through his community, Nei Yisrael, has hosted dozens of visits of yeshiva rabbonim over the years and sent many English students to learn in KBY. We are very grateful. The yeshiva has always encouraged breadth in its talmidim. It is not uncommon to encounter alumni who can comfortably discuss the intricacies of a Tosfos and Bava Kama or a perplexing K'tosa Choshen, to come across those who can explain an abstract idea of the Maharal or of Tzadok HaKohen of Lublin, or to find others who can grapple with the ideas of Kant, Hume, and Wittgenstein. However, it is extremely rare to find someone who can seamlessly move between the three without batting an eyelid. Rabbi Daniel Rowe is one such person. Rabbi Rowe learned in the yeshiva from 1992 to 1997, including service in the IDF Tank Brigade. He went on to learn in Mir and study at UCL before making a tremendous impact on the UK community in his role at ACE UK, where he was recently appointed Chief Executive Officer. Known for his formidable intellect and engaging style, it is an honor to welcome Rabbi Rowe to share some words. Following Rabbi Rowe's speech, there will be a video on the wall screen over there. Rabbi Rowe.
My first encounter with KBY was about a year before when we were picking yeshivas, and we went to visit different yeshivas, and the family had some connection, I think, with the yeshiva already, Eli Klein, and so forth, and we had a very interesting conversation in which it sounded to me, I was young, maybe I didn't understand it, or like we were perhaps being offered to be privileged and placed in some very nice dormitories there, and my father was using his Yekesha Shkofa of, no, they have to be treated the same as everybody else. And Eli Klein said something about a Dan, and I thought, this sounds amazing, you know. And I got to yeshiva, and I think my very first lesson was try to get to the plaza. But Baruch Hashem, I remember arriving in the yeshiva, and the only comfort we had coming from Manchester is it was clear we were miles behind absolutely everybody in the yeshiva, the Israelis, the Americans. The only comfort we had, the Londoners were a bit behind us. So it was, you know. And then the Shurim were never written, and Baruch Hashem, you know, it was amazing. I remember still struggling in the first few weeks in yeshiva, and Rav Friedman coming up to me, and just the attention and the care for seeing a struggling bocher in the beginning was special. And as the years got on, I had that phenomenon that happens sometimes to bochrim. You got promoted to Rav Blachman's shir, and you arrived at Rav Blachman's shir, didn't have a clue what was going on. But unfortunately, my anova was not big enough to say I didn't know what was going on, so I was stuck for a few months. But it was a schus to move from shir to shir when Rav Stav started giving shir, and different shirim and different rabbeim, and over the years, growing from one rebbe after another. And I actually remember there was one winter when, you know, sometimes you get this where it's a little bit down, and Rav Blachman gave us some musa. And he brought us all into a room, and he told us, rebbe by rebbe, what there was. And I remember just walking out of that room thinking, he's so right. This one's a goyin olam, and this one after another, and you suddenly realize what you're touching here is just something incredibly special. I was thinking what to say tonight, and Erev Shabbos, it struck me there's something very obvious to say, because there's being interesting, there's a pasuk in Eov, not that I'm a mumche in Eov, but there's a pasuk in Eov that says as follows, Ki lasheleg yoyma hevei. Kodesh Baruch Hu says the snow should arrive on the ground. It was a snowy Friday, snowy Shabbos. And the Rambam uses that pasuk to unlock two of the most difficult psukim in Parashas Mishpatim. So I thought we can't avoid speaking about this. There's some important thing here. And those two psukim are, of course, when it talks about the it's the retrospective lefi, the pasuk lefi, the way Chazal learn and Rashi learns Ein Mukdam Uchavat Torah. We're going back to that Kedama, the introduction of Matan Torah. Vayiras Elokei Yisrael, they saw. I'm just reading the simple translation here. God of Israel, v'tachas ragal of kamaisi livnas asapir, and in what sounds like the heaviest anthropomorphism in Torah, they see the feet, the actions of his feet, that looks like this white or brick or sapphire or some kind of jewel. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't punish the elites of the Bnei Yisrael. Chazal say not here, but he does later. They see God and they eat and they drink. Very difficult psukim. Different. The Unclus learns that it's referring to the Kisei HaKavod, and it seems that Unclus is saying they're doing the right thing, they bring karbonis. Rashi says certainly they're doing something wrong over here, and each one. The Rambam dedicates, I think, 4 or 5 prokim scattered across the Moreh Nevuchim just to understanding these 2 psukim. And he builds it, the Rambam Shitta, which I think is very often misquoted. People say the Rambam says things are metaphors. The Rambam never holds something as a metaphor. He holds it as a homonym. Meaning, the Rambam holds never does a word appear in reference to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that hasn't already appeared somewhere else with the correct meaning for that. That's why he says, for example, the word tavnis, which is like the word tmuna, it's a representative, but it only ever refers to physical things, is never, ever, ever used by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whereas the word tmuna is, because tmuna can mean when you're representing something not physically. That's why we say tmuna Hashem Yabit. And so the Rambam goes on. And he takes each word of this pasuk, as he does with many other pasukim, and explains. When it says vayar, they saw, or it used the word vayechza, yechzu, those are words that mean more than physical seeing. In Koheles it describes Isyani Belibi, when he talks about knowing much wisdom, he saw in his heart, and it's not physically seeing, he's grasping. But that HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to Avram b'machazeh. It's not physically seeing, it's grasping intellectually. It's being able to put the mind and grasp. So what is happening over here, says the Rambam right near the beginning of the Moreh, is they're trying to grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is tachas raglov? And the Rambam tells us again. A regal, yes, it physically means a foot, but a regal also is a word used with a seemingly very, very different meaning in Torah. When Yaakov Avinu talks to Lavan, and he wants to describe to him and explain to Lavan that his wealth came because of Yaakov, the word he uses l'ragli, because of me. The word regal is to do with causation. Why it's to do with a foot is another issue. But it's a word that is used in Torah to mean something that causes something else. If they're looking at the tachas ragl of the regal, it means that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu is causing in the world. So they're trying to grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu via that which he caused in the world. In other words, they're looking into the world and seeing deeply that behind it is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So far, so good. What is the Livnas HaSapir? And here the Rambam has an interesting parak where he talks about the Livnas HaSapir, the property of the sapphire, and here it can't necessarily mean a sapphire, but a certain type of maybe diamonds or certain jewels whose color is lavan, is white, only in as much as light moves through it. It actually has no color whatsoever. And all it is absorbs from everything else. And what they've understood is what the Yavanim called the choyma, the primal choyma, what we might today call energy. There's a universe made of things that can take different shapes, different forms, different areas, and it has of itself no particular form. And they grasp, therefore, the deepest they can grasp about the physical universe. And they understood that it's some kind of relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But then the Rambam tells us, at the end of that parak in the Moreh Nevuchim, he uses a very interesting lashon, and he says that I understood all of this by learning something from Pirkei Rav Eliezer that I'm going to come to in another parak. And you have to wait all the way to the Chelek Sheni, and he quotes the Pirkei Rav Eliezer. It's a different nusach to the one we have. It's actually the nusach Teiman. But in that Pirkei Rav Eliezer, he speaks about this. The Medrash says, Shamayim ma'izeh makom nivra. How is heaven created? And it says, Ma'or levushay, the light of whatever it means, the levush of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the clothing. Oita arka salma. He took this light and stretched it and made shamayim. And then the Medrash goes on, Ha'aretz ma'izeh makom nivra. How does Aretz come into being? Mishelek shetachas kisei kvoidai. The snow, or presumably it's not snow, whatever this sheleg is, that's under the kisei kavoid, and quoting this pasuk, Ki lasheleg yoyma havei haaretz. To the snow he says, not come to the ground, but become the physical world. And what the Rambam learns in this Medrash is this. He says, therefore, grasping physical things is not the way that we grasp spiritual things. You can't use the same, I'm elaborating slightly, faculties to grasp one from the other. Or to put it slightly differently, and this I think is the biggest side of the Moreh Nevuchim, pretty much mitchil avad soif. What the Greeks got wrong is this. They used their mental faculties to the absolute maximum capacity. And they thought deeply about reality and causation and existence. And the problem is this. When you're getting very abstract, there's one thing that limits you. You can only understand reality based on who you are. And if you ultimately are a being enmeshed in physicality, no matter how deeply you think, you might think to the edge of physicality, you might think about energy, you might think about a lot of things, but in the end it can only reflect your lenses. If your lenses are colored, you can only see the world in that color. And to grasp, using the same philosophical mechanism, what allows you to grasp something spiritual is that you've developed yourself and refined yourself spiritually. And a person who hasn't achieved ruchnius in their own avodah, who hasn't achieved tahara, no matter how brilliant their brain is, will never be able to fully understand kedusha and tahara. They'll never be able to grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Moshe Rabbeinu's gadlus, says the Rambam, is even when he reached that great madrega, you could see at the snare, he realized he was not great enough to fully grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He stopped looking. He knew where to pause. And that's why he was zoicha, through understanding what he still has to grow. Understanding that even at Moshe Rabbeinu's darga, that level which the Maharal says was already beyond words, he still realized he has to work on himself, and finally he can achieve Utmunas Hashem Yabit, that which distinguished him from every other Novi. He could mamash grasp the reality of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this week's Sedra, says the Rambam, the Atzile B'nai Yisrael, Nadav and Avihu, in the Psukim just before, in an earlier parak in the Moireh, it says that in the Psukim literally leading up to this, we suddenly come, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives an instruction. Vel Moshe Omar Alei El Hashem, come up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Atov, Aaron, Nadav, Avihu, V'shivim Miziknei Yisrael, V'shtachavisa Merochi. Come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'nigash Moshe Levado, but only Moshe got up there. And it sounds like it was an instruction which only Moshe kept. But the Rambam says no. They worked and they strove to come as close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but only Moshe Rabbeinu could get there. And what everybody else should have done at that moment is said, okay, we got more avodah to do. Our dveikus b'Hashem can't deepen until we work on our own ruchnis on their incredible level. But they didn't. They tried to jump anyway. Vayiras Elokei Yisrael, and they grasped and they said, we're going to get it. We're going to get that dveikus b'Hashem. We're going to get our minds there. V'tachas raglo k'maisa livnas hasapir. And they grasped the deepest point you can get in physicality. And they made a mistake. And when you use your own flawed brain to try to grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you physicalize, then it leads straight back into your own. What you're really doing is just projecting yourself onto HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're seeing reality through your little lenses, and what will come back to you is the very same thing. Vayochlu vayishtu. They went back into the Gashmis world. And that's why they get punished. And what the Rambam is teaching us is something beyond incredible, is that I think, and he doesn't say this bit beferish, but the Seder Parashat Mishpatim is this. You've had Matan Torah in Parashat Yisrael. You've had revelation. But how do you grasp it? How do you prepare yourself? Moshe Rabbeinu can do it, but you can get it wrong. And the answer is, Ve'ele Mishpatim Shatosim Lifneim. These are the Mishpatim which you've got to put before you. It says Rashi at the beginning of the Sedra, don't think I'll just lay it like a Shulchan Aruch. I've got to give the ta'amim. I've got to let them learn, grasp, grow, be Isaac in the sugyas. And one by one, the brain can align itself. That's what the Rambam says. You want to understand the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want to be Oyev Hashem. You can look at the world, but you want to know how to do that. You have to be Isaac in Tam Mole Krisai with Havayas Abayav V'Rava. You have to learn one sugya and another sugya and another sugya. And every time you learn, it changes that very physical brain. It changes that reptilian and mammalian brain, and the neurons, the brain itself, starts to align itself. The mind itself starts to understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu a little bit more. I remember, time after time, I remember the walks we used to have. I still remember Rav Stav, when he first turned up in the yeshiva, and there were two things that made him very awesome. He was physically very big in the beginning, but he used to stand at the back of the Beis HaMedrash, and in those days, the Rosh Hashiva was unwell at the time, and there was a bit of, everybody was learning Bava Basra and a winter's man, and everyone had given up, a lot of people had given up trying to learn the whole of Bava Basra. In Bekiah Seder, it was mamash, every single Masechta in Shas was being learned somewhere, and there was a queue to the back of the Beis HaMedrash, and Rav Stav would be sitting there, and it didn't matter what you were asking, in any sefer, anywhere. I don't know, you can be asking Kisar Rizal or something, he was answering one after another, and he was just, and I remember always thinking, I just need the guts to develop a kasha. Baruch Hashem eventually was Zoich, and he used to, after he had his heart attack and he used to have to go for walks, the best thing in the yeshiva was to go for a walk with the Stav. And not the best, sorry, that was one of the many wonderful things in the yeshiva. Many great rabbeim was great to get walks, but he had to walk every day, so you could be tofus that walk. We used to have a Seder who walked with him, and I remember him explaining to us time after time this concept. The why is Talmud Torah connected kulam? Because Talmud Torah changes you. And I think he used this marshal once, maybe I got it in a conversation with him, that in any relationship, people ask you things you don't understand. They don't, this person, somebody you love, your wife, your spouse, your children, people you love ask you to do things that make no sense to you. And you could do three things. One is you can ignore them. And ignoring them means you don't really value what they value. That's not a relationship. Two is you can do what matters to them because it matters to them. And that's a serious relationship already. I don't get it, you like it, I'll do it. That's called nasa. But then you could do something even greater. You can say what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what you want whether I understand it or not, but I'm going to also try really hard to understand what you see in this, what you like about it. Because if I can get my brain to think about the world a little bit more like you, then everything I do can become a little bit more understanding you. It can shape who I am to be a kli to understand you. And being Isaac in Talmud Torah is shaping each one of you. That's what he said to us. That Isaac in Talmud Torah turns you into a kli to understand Ratzon Hashem. You want to get a chazaka and a miga and a roiv and a sveka, you will, Be'ez Hashem, come out as a better makabel kibbud of aim, a more honest human being. If you're doing it right, it will shape everything about who you are. And when I think back to those years in KBY, and Baruch Hashem, I was zeicha to a lot of them, not just because I came a bit young and was able to stay for a few years, but also because I was zeicha to do a university degree where the first 2 years didn't count. So I was able to spend the whole of Beina University's Manim, which is most of the year, in the Rav Ilan Halberstadt days. They had a mattress on the floor, and I used to be able to turn out. And Baruch Hashem, zeicha to spend so many years and feel, and I remember when we were finally leaving yeshiva, and we got sat down, and Rav Stav was always pushing us, you got to open the Beis HaMedrash in London, you got to open this Beis HaMedrash in London, you got to have a Mokum Torah for people to come back in London. And I remember when at the time of Dave Meyer just opened the Beis in Hasmonean, and he said how he spoke about he inspired by his time in KBY. We've got to have proper learning here in Hasmonean. And I remember when we came back in university, and then eventually with Zoicha, Rav Ilan came back and actually opened the Beis HaMedrash, the evening program, and the things that happened in this town to bring the Chashivas HaTorah. And Rav Stav sat us down and said, you know, you can argue whether reverse lechatchila, but yevet lemaisa. If you're going to university, that's your mahalach, and that's what you've got to be ovid on. And what has to stop is this sense that people who go to work are somehow not constantly have a she'ifa to grow in Torah. And you avoid it when you go back, if you've gained anything from this yeshiva, is you have to, all of you have to come back and drive into London and make it a place where she'ifa and Torah is something that is not for people in Kollel and yeshiva alone. It's something for every Jew and every balabais and everybody. You're always Isaac Torah. B'chol derachecha daehu. And Baruch Hashem, you know, it's amazing. It's amazing to see what the Beis HaMedrash has many, and see the base in the evening here, see chava after chava, you know, seeing around our table, seeing chaverim who are Isaac Torah, who are really growing in Torah, each in different paths in life. But it's a remarkable thing to feel what we were zeicha to gain, and what the Kehillas gained, and what's happened as a result of this amazing yeshiva. And I only be mevarech the Rosh Hashiva and Hala and everybody, that just like you gave to us, you should continue to have the koach to give to so many others, and continue to be marbetz Torah in every makom in the world, and that we should be zeicha to really, through this avodah and through all that we're doing, mal aretz de'as Hashem, to be zeicha to b'mheira v'yameinu. Amen.